Hello, and happy Thursday, friends. You're listening to the Press Forward podcast. My name is Mika Daly, and this is edition number 9 of Press Pause, a mini-series created in collaboration by WP and Up, a nonprofit dedicated to providing mental health and wellness support to the WordPress community, and WPMU Dev, the company that I work for. Press Pause is an effort to remind you, our listeners, to pause and be reminded that you're not alone. For freelancers, small business owners, and remote workers, it can be easy to forget or just never know the wonders of the WordPress community. But as soon as you walk into the doors at a WordCamp or local meetup, WordPress takes on a whole new meaning, and that is what we hope to capture on this show. In each episode, Nathan Wrigley and I jump on calls with WordCamp attendees all around the world and ask them to share the moments that have stuck with them past the camps they went to. It could be a funny interaction, inspiring conversation, a session that has changed the way they do things, or a special new friendship. At its core, WordPress is made up of real people, and who knows, maybe these stories will inspire some of you to go out and meet them. This episode of Press Pause is brought to you by WPMU Dev. WordPress site owners know just how time-consuming and frustrating it can be to run backups and updates, stay on top of security and optimization, and provide a streamlined process for reports and branding, especially for those of us who look after multiple sites. Well, never fear, because WPMU Dev is here. And a single membership to their all-in-one platform can help you automate and manage every one of those things. Plus, you get access to their dedicated hosting and 24/7 support. Visit WPMUdev.com today to start your 30-day free trial. Just let me make sure I got the levels okay here. Can you tell me what you had for breakfast today?
I actually had cereal today.
All right, I think we're good. Earlier this year, I released a journalistic podcast series about WordPress called Hello WP. A few weeks later, I went to my first local WordCamp, WordCamp Phoenix 2019. And that is where I met Mika.
Yeah, so my name is Mika. I got involved with WordPress about 2 years ago, I believe 2017. For a while, I was teaching small business owners how to build their website using WordPress. So then once I started doing that, I got more and more involved, attending meetups, going to WordCamp Phoenix, also, learning how to build my own sites using WordPress and getting more into WordPress development also.
Cool. So yeah, let's talk WordCamps. How many have you been to? What was your first one? Kind of what's your WordCamp history?
This WordCamp Phoenix this year in 2019 was my third. And the first time I went, it was pretty interesting. I didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
It was really fun, going to all the different talks and meeting different people, being able to put a face to companies, basically, seeing different plugin companies and theme companies and then seeing who works behind the scenes was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So what's your favorite experience? What's your favorite story from a WordCamp?
I would have to say from recently this year, WordCamp Phoenix. Wordfence had a booth where they were doing lockpicking. And I thought that was really cool. And I've done it before. So I went over expecting that I was going to unlock basically all of them. And I even mentioned like, hey, I've done this before, so this should be sort of like a cakewalk. And it didn't end up that way. I wasn't even able to unlock the easiest one. So I basically shot myself in the foot at the beginning. But they did still give me like a lock picking kit, like, hey, thanks for trying. Like we kind of feel sorry for you, but you did put in good effort. So then the next day, I went back sort of with a vengeance. It's like, I have to at least unlock the first one.
Yeah.
And I was able to get through mostly all of them. And they had a competition going on that second day for whoever got the fastest time would win I believe it's a $200 gift card.
Wow.
So me and some friends were over there, trying, and we got through, the first, second, third, pick and the lock. And then a few people were actually really breaking the records. I think the fastest when I first got there was about a minute or so. And then someone did it in 16 seconds and another person did it in like 9.
Wow.
So we had a challenge ahead of us. And the funniest part is that I completely forgot about the competition. When I picked up the competition lock, I forgot to tell them, hey, time me. I'm going to try this one. And I solved it in about 3 seconds. And as soon as I did it, I'm just like, wait a minute. I forgot to tell you to time this. They were like, no. And I had to do it over again. And of course, I didn't beat the fastest time. But it was really fun just to be over there and to talk to them. They're really cool.
Yeah.
Everyone who works for Wordfence, they're a really awesome team. But just to be over there and, picking the locks and just having a great conversation, enjoying the time, that was definitely the best memory by far.
That's cool. What if you can remember, what's like a really memorable session you've been to?
Interesting enough, the ones that I remember off the top of my head aren't necessarily WordPress related.
Yeah.
So I would say the first two for the first WordCamp I went to, which I believe was WordCamp Phoenix 2017. Shada Tarabi had a great one, talking about how she started, doing a blog and freelancing and working with WordPress, which I thought was really great. Another one was from this year was Chris from Sandhills.
Oh yeah, Sandhills, yeah.
Yeah, so he did a talk about working remotely, but also mentioned the challenges and made sure to go over how it's important that you still need to either be involved in some sort of group or a club, or if you are working remotely, to try to go to co-working spaces so that you're around other people, because it can get lonely. Did cover mental health as well, because it is very important to make sure that people do know that there are resources out there and there are people who have similar experiences, and that if you are going through things like that, working remotely and being home alone all the time can sort of sometimes make those situations a bit worse. So he was putting that out there and gave out resources for people to contact depending on what you're possibly going through, or how you can sort of to make sure you're just not alone and singled out all the time.
Like I said earlier in the show, it can be easy to forget you're not alone when you're alone so often. On the first day of WordCamp Phoenix back in February, Mika came up to our booth with a big smile and told my brother Josh and I that she liked Hello WP. Now, I'm the first to admit that I like validation, probably too much. But this compliment was more than that to me. I had been working alone for nearly 7 months on this project, and that isolation was starting to wear on me, more than I think I realized at the time. Having Mika and a few others find me to basically say, hey, I see you and what you're doing, really meant a lot to me. We need community, because sometimes we need validation and encouragement, and we need community to help us learn and grow. Last question for you. If you had an opportunity to kind of invite somebody to a WordCamp, what would be kind of your way of being like, hey, you should check this out? Why should people check out WordCamps?
I feel like even if you're not familiar with what WordPress is, or you do have an interest in, building a website or building websites for yourself or your business or other people, I think it's just cool to hear from the different sides and different perspectives of how WordPress sort of runs. It's just also really cool to just be around those who are also involved. You get a lot of cool things, stickers and shirts and so forth, but I feel like it's just a well-rounded learning opportunity.
The Press Forward podcast is a production of WP and Up. The Press Pause mini-series is a collaborative effort by WPMU Dev and WP and Up. Nathan Wrigley and me, Mika Daly, produced this episode, and I created the original score. A massive thank you to Mika for her time and willingness to chat with me on this episode. and thank all of you for listening. Remember that together we can press forward.